The slap echoed through the diner louder than the clatter of plates, a sharp, ugly sound that made time seem to freeze for just a second too long. Every fork paused midair. Every breath caught. A disabled girl sat trembling in her wheelchair near the window, her cheek already burning red, her eyes wide with shock and humiliation. Sunlight poured in through the glass, cruelly bright for a moment, so dark, as if the day itself refused to look away. If stories of kindness, second chances, and unexpected justice still matter to you, take a moment right now to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel Threads of Kindness. Your support helps these stories reach hearts that need them most. The girl's name was Maribel Rowe, 22 years old, born with weakened legs that never allowed her to walk without assistance. She worked mornings at the local library and treated herself to lunch at this small roadside diner once a week, always during daylight when the world felt safer. She liked the routine, the warmth of the sun, the hum of ordinary life. Today, that sense of safety had been ripped away by 3 young adults who found cruelty amusing and vulnerability irresistible. They mocked the way her hands shook as she tried to lift her drink, laughed at her slurred speech caused by nerve damage, and finally crossed a line that could never be uncrossed. When the slap came, no one intervened. Some looked down. Some pretended to check their phones. Fear and discomfort held the room hostage. Maribel didn't cry at first. She sat frozen, staring at the tabletop where a crack shaped like a lightning bolt ran through the laminate. Her chest felt tight, her heart beat loud in her ears. She wondered, as she often did in moments like this, what it would be like to exist without being seen as an easy target. The bullies left soon after, laughing as they stepped into the sunlight, their shadows stretching long across the parking lot. The diner returned to its routine, but something had shifted. Kindness had been tested, and it had failed. What Maribel didn't know was that someone had seen everything. A middle-aged waitress named Colleen, who had lost her brother to violence years earlier, stepped outside on her break with trembling hands and made a call. Her voice cracked as she explained what had happened, describing the slap, the laughter, the wheelchair left shaking in the corner. On the other end of the line was her nephew, a biker named Jax Calder, part of a local riding group known less for intimidation and more for silent acts of protection. Colleen didn't ask for revenge. She asked for presence. An hour passed. Maribel stayed, staring out the window, unsure why she hadn't left yet. Maybe she needed to prove something to herself, or maybe she was just too tired to move. The sun climbed higher, flooding the diner with midday light, when the low rumble began outside. It wasn't loud at first, just a vibration through the glass, like distant thunder rolling closer. Then engines cut, one by one, until the parking lot was filled with leather-clad riders removing helmets under the open sky. There were 12 of them. They walked in calmly, boots heavy against the floor, eyes scanning the room. No shouting. No threats. Just presence. Jack spotted Maribel instantly, her small frame in the wheelchair, her stiff posture trying to look braver than she felt. He nodded once and pulled out a chair, sitting nearby, not crowding her, not speaking, simply being there. The bullies, who had returned thinking the moment had passed, stiffened as recognition dawned. Their laughter died quickly. What followed wasn't violence. It was accountability. The bikers stood, blocking exits without touching anyone, their silence heavier than any raised voice. Other customers found their courage then, standing too, murmuring agreement, finally choosing sides. The bullies shrank under the weight of eyes that no longer looked away. They left again, this time without laughter, without pride, daylight exposing them fully. Maribel felt something loosen inside her chest. She realized her hands had stopped shaking. Jax eventually turned to her and smiled gently, a look that carried understanding rather than pity. He and his group stayed long enough to eat, tip generously, and remind the diner, without words, that cruelty thrives only when good people stay silent. Before you reach the end, please comment below one word that describes how this moment made you feel. Your words matter more than you know. As the bikers rode away under the bright afternoon sun, Maribel rolled herself outside, letting the light warm her face. For the first time in a long while, she felt seen, not as weak, but as worthy of protection and respect. If this story touched your heart, moved you, or reminded you of the power of standing up for others, please like, comment, and share this video so more people can feel this hope. Sometimes, kindness doesn't roar. Sometimes, it arrives quietly, on 2 wheels, exactly when it's needed most.